Think you know more about cricket than your friends? Prove it with Crickfire, only at Cricket 8. Answer trivia questions every day. Score more than your mates and win free coins. Fast questions, faster answers, one winner. Don't just watch the game, play the game.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cricket 8 post-match chat. I'm Jack Hope. I'm joined by Rob Barron. Rob, we watched two games today. Gujarat Titans v Chennai Super Kings and Sunrisers Hyderabad v the Kolkata Knight Riders. Saw quite a lot of runs in both of them, but they were kind of blowouts. How you doing? Did you enjoy the cricket, first of all?
I've already forgotten it, to be honest, but I enjoyed a lot of the first innings. I mean, we saw 500 plus first innings runs today, which is nuts. 230 and then 278. Entertaining, it was fun, but the chasing teams didn't make any sort of fist of chasing, so made the games themselves completely forgettable. The table is quite interesting. Chennai definitely have the wooden spoon, and Gujarat can now be shot at for winning the group stage, or however you want to put it.
Yep.
But the playoffs are decided. We know who the four teams are. We just don't know what order they're in. And Chennai are bottom. So a lot of it has been settled, and we still have a few league games to go. What did you think of today? It was a fun day. Like, it was fun, but the games were forgettable, weren't they?
Look, I think we saw a lot of really good moments, saw a couple of fantastic innings. We had a lot of fun playing along on the live stream. The winners and losers. Like you say, I'm not going to remember the game specifically. I will remember Heinrich Klaassen going ballistic. I probably will remember a bit of Devil Brevis. Why don't we get into it? Do you want to start with the first game, Chennai v Gujarat? In this one, Chennai batted first. They made their way up to 230 for 5 runs for Devil Brevis, as I said, 57 off 23 for him. And then in response, the Gujarat Titans. What we've seen them do well all year is score runs at the top of the order. They've got 3 volume batters, Sudarshan, Shubman Gill and Butler. Today, 2 of them failed, and the one that sort of succeeded didn't succeed by his own very high standards. Sai Sudarshan out for 41 off 28. And then the rest of the order, Rob, they kind of subsided, all out for 147. We should probably talk about the implications of that first of all. That means Gujarat, they stay top of the table, a little bit of a net run rate dent, but that doesn't matter because of how everyone else is positioned in terms of points. You said teams can shoot at them. Punjab, RCB, Mumbai, they've all got a chance to go above them. Can 2 out of 3 do that?
No, because Punjab are playing Mumbai, basically. So no. Well, 3 out of 3 can't. 2 out of 3
3 out of 3 can't. Yeah.
2 out of 3 can. So RCB simply have to beat Lucknow in the last game.
Yep.
Which should be very winnable for them. Lucknow with nothing to play for, who have lost 4 of the last 5, look like a spent force this season. Bad net run rate. They have some joy at the top of the order, to be fair, and they were very convincing when they got rid of Gujarat. So Gujarat have stuttered with 2 losses at a very inopportune time.
Yeah.
Leaving their net run rate, and we've said it all along this season, is the criticism that we have of them is they don't go hard enough sometimes. You know, when you're just watching Sudarshan and Gill get them to 100 for 1 every bloody game, sometimes they don't do it quick enough, and that has resulted in them having the worst net run rate of anyone in the top 4. So sorry, yes, they can. They can't finish 4th, but they can easily finish 3rd here, and that's by virtue of them not going hard enough. So somebody will win out of Punjab and Mumbai. That's not massively putting my neck on the block. And if it's a tie, then they both go ahead, or it's a rain off. So that doesn't look good for Gujarat from that point of view. So Gujarat will not top this table. And then it's down to whether RCB can beat Lucknow, and they would be 60% or something. So yeah, Gujarat could end up finishing 4th. And having to win it the hard way, having been front runners for ages and needed to win one of the last 2, which they royally buggered up. You know, they should beat Lucknow, and they lost by 33 runs, and then they got absolutely whopped by Chennai today. So yeah, they're and also Josh Butler's on a plane home now.
Yeah,
and that's no good, is it? It's not looking rosy for Gujarat, having had a great season.
Yeah, I agree with you, and that's sort of where I wanted to take the conversation. So Gujarat, They've been great all year. They've lost 2 in a row, lost 2 quite convincingly. What was even maybe a little bit more concerning was some of the bowling choices by Shubman Gill. They looked like a team earlier in the year that had a really solid plan, were doing some clever things, keeping other teams off balance. Today it was like they were playing spin the wheel on the Cricket 8 website and just like, coming up with wherever the dial landed. I'm thinking here specifically for people who maybe didn't watch the game, they chose to go with Siraj in the 19th over instead of Prasidh Krishna, despite him bowling really well. Siraj got pumped. Prasidh Krishna bowled a decent over, actually gets Brevis out, but by then the damage was kind of done, and it had gone from like an 11 and over chase, maybe a 10 and a half and over chase, to an 11 and a half over chase, and that really makes a lot of difference. With Butler going home and them potentially finishing outside the top 3, have Gujarat gone from like the favourites or the second favourites to, maybe unlikely to even feature in the final? Am I going too far with that analysis, Rob?
Well, Gujarat were about 30% to win the IPL, maybe a bit more, 2 games ago, and now they've lost them both, and Josh Butler's going home, and they look like they were just mucking about today in a game that they shouldn't have mucked about in. Like you said, they probably threw away 20 runs at the end of that innings that they totally didn't need to. So whilst they were 30%, they're now 19%. So you're not wrong. They have given themselves, they are the outsiders of the 4 teams that can win this IPL. Mumbai are the rightful favourites. They're the strongest team and they've got Bumrah. So, they're the rightful favourites. They're taking up a lot of the market. Then it's RCB and then it's Punjab, who we've been on since the start at 14 or 15. They're still hanging around there. Nobody knows how the rest of it's going to be made up. I'd say Mumbai look quite short to me at 2.6, which is what they are right at this second. Gujarat, by mainly their own ineptitude, have found themselves 18% to win the IPL, which is 13% lower than they were a week ago, basically. And saying that Mumbai are 38.5% seems quite high to me, given that they are currently 4th. Let's not forget that they are 4th. They are not top. It's expecting a lot from Mumbas to be that short. But yeah, Gujarat, their stock has plummeted in the last week, and they've lost 2 games to teams miles below them in the table, 7th and 10th, and by healthy margins both times. So to end up with their run rate as bad as it is, actually a bit of an effort after those 2 performances. And now, they're under it. I'd be surprised if they win from here, would you?
I think so. And I think the loss of Butler as well is huge. There's just the way the team plays. You said you think they don't go hard enough. I think actually the hardness that they go is perfect for the team that they are and how deep they bat and what the other guys in the squad are actually capable of. I think you take Butler out of that top 3, and like you really lose part of the secret sauce. I think having those 3 guys who like regularly bat 30 balls, regularly bank a 50, and 2 of them regularly do that, just takes the pressure off all the other sort of weaker batters, to be honest, and allows them to win a lot of games where 190 does the job. So I would have them down as probably outsiders at this point. I want to talk about Chennai Super Kings briefly as well. They've got the wooden spoon, but during the game we were actually both quite positive about what might happen for them in 2026. Like, we weren't looking at them and saying these guys are junk, they need to just rip up the whole script. A couple of decent pickups in the auction, maybe they get a power play bowler in, and this team could bounce back, couldn't they?
Yeah, I think the future's pretty bright. Like, remember, Gaikwad is going to come back. It's easy to forget, and Ravindra can come again. He's done extraordinary things, from going from a kind of bits and pieces bowling number 7 to an opener who's one of the best bats in the 50 over World Cup. So they've got him in their makeup. I don't think Conway is the future by any stretch of the imagination. And who knows what Dhoni's future is? Probably only Dhoni. They look a pacer short to me, but Kambodge has come on really well. He's a very good dot guy, and he's somebody that you can definitely have in your starting 11 moving forward. Kambodge, I like him. He's only 24. Kambodge, he's been around, but he's only 24. So they luckily got Brevis because they didn't mean to get Brevis. They just had loads of injuries and ended up getting him in the auction. Sorry, not in the auction, as a replacement player.
Replacement, yeah.
So, but now they've got him, right? And he's been a revelation this season. He only failed once, and he's scoring his runs at a right old click. He got 250s and 240s and a 30 in his 6 goes. That's really good. And his innings today launched them to 230 when without it, it could have been 210, and maybe Gujarat would have found the chase less daunting. So those are match-winning players. And when you've got Matre, who's a kid and is doing really well, Ervil, who is very, very exciting. He's a very high strike. He's the future, right? Those sort of players are the future. 200 strike rate guys. 160 will be thought of in 5 years' time as what you're doing picking an out-and-out batsman that only scores at 160. Right now, people have been greats of the game in T20 cricket and scored at 160. It's not going to cut it. If you're just a power play hitter, you've got to go at 200, mate, and that's it. There's no one something is no good anymore if you're just a power play hitter. And when you've got guys like Ervil who hits 1 in 5 of his balls for 6 on current evidence, and Matre, who's more classical bat but can whack it, Brevis as well. That's 3 really good young bats. Bin off Conway, free up another overseas slot. You've got Gaikwad that can hold all that together. Anchor, he can either open around Matre and Ervil, which I would, or bat 3 and let them just crack on with the power play, and then he anchors and explodes. He can play like the Gill or Sid Hassan type role. That's a really good looking top 4 or 5. Then you've got Dubé and Jadeja and whoever else. Like Huda can go. Dhoni don't know. Nor great. Patharana needs to go and rebuild this action. However, that's working. Khalil, loads of experience. Like they've got a few players they must get rid of, Chennai. But the future looks really bright because a lot of the good players are really young, right? So, and they've got some experience in there. Dubé is well worth his place in the side. Probably needs to come again, but he's been all right this season, Dubé. He's not been terrible. I like the look of him, Chennai, for moving forward.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think there's a lot to be excited about, and if you want to look from like at it from a rebuild point of view, you get rid of Ashwin, you get rid of Conway, which I think they'll probably do. That's 16 crore to go for an overseas power play bowler, for example, in your auction. It should be a doable rebuild, I think, and you probably got the resources to do it. So Chennai, awful season. I'm not going to remember many moments from it, but I think there's reasons to be hopeful. Gujarat, on the other hand, we're a little bit worried for you going into the playoffs, but they're Gujarat. They do solve problems. They do things you don't expect. So never write them off. The second game today, Rob. Sunrisers Hyderabad v Kolkata Knight Riders. We've seen some big ding-dongs between these two teams over the last couple of years. Final last year. It's a bit of a rivalry, I would say, in the IPL at the moment. Sunrisers Hyderabad, they bat first, and it's a run fest, basically. Abhishek Sharma, he gets 32 off 16. He's the sort of loser in the top 3. Travis Head, 76 off 40. And then Heinrich Klaassen, promoted up the order, 105 off 39 deliveries. The 3rd fastest ton in IPL history. The 2nd fastest of the year. Couldn't beat the 14-year-old. Unlucky Heinrich. but it was a great innings. In response, KKR didn't really get going. Quinton de Kock, we were speculating about whether he was playing for his future in the IPL. If he was, be surprised if we see him again. 9 off 13. Few runs for Sunil Narayan, but it was later on where KKR basically saved a bit of face. Manish Pandey, 37 off 23. Harshit Rana, 34 off 21. A few wickets in there as well. Unad Kat, was really impressed with him today, 24 for 3. Malinga bowled a good first couple of overs, then got a little bit of tap, 31 for 3. And Harsh Dubé, really excited to see him. Great new prospect, 22-year-old left-arm spinner, scored some runs in the Ranji as well. 3 for 34 off his 4. Rob, frankly, a meaningless game and a meaningless result. But a lot of cricket happened. There are a few things to talk about. Do you want to do Heinrich Klaassen's runs or maybe SRH's bowling?
It was a shootout, and the really good move from SRH was Klaassen at number 3. because that could have slowed down. And they had the great start, 90 for none off 6.5 overs or whatever it was. And then Abhishek got out and they went, well, we've got spin now. And what they could have done is tied Kishan up with spin already, or whoever with spin of the highest class, Narayan and Chak. And instead they went, I'll tell you what, we're going to put Klassen in and we're going to go for it. And Klassen basically belted Chakravarti out of the attack, and who had no answer to him. He was bowling bloody seam up half trackers at one point that were getting Hoon over the leg side for 6. So Klassen was great, but the move to bat him number 3 was a match-winning move, because they negated the possible nonsense of a rebuild or slowing down or anything like that. They sped up, if anything. It was absolutely superb innings, which was made the target, let's face it, utterly unchaseable, 280. De Kock's innings was up there with the worst that I've seen, certainly this year. He actually batted for, it felt like Pandey batted for ages. De Kock, in terms of minutes, batted longer. He batted for 42 minutes, Quentin de Kock, and scored 9 runs, which in a test match he would never do. Narayan batted for 17 minutes and scored 31 runs. Now, I know it's about balls, but the fact of the matter is that Quentin de Kock was 7 off 8, and his 7 were all singles. And he kept trundling singles away, deferring the risk to his partner. So he contributed to at least 3 of them getting out at the other end, who had to go at strike rate 250 from ball 1, because he was chewing up deliveries at the other end, being selfish. So if I was in charge of KKR, that'd be a straight red for me. Like, if they'd have said to him, we're going to bring Gurbaz off because you're more likely to get, be our guy for the next couple of years. He's 32, Quentin. I think his attitude has been questionable for a lot of his career. Some of the stuff I've seen him do has not been particularly endearing. That was shocking. That was really, really bad. 9 off 13. Didn't really tell the story of how bad it was. And he derailed that. At least Narayan came out and tried to whack it. There was a few decent moments for KKR in that game. Narayan's comeback over that only went for 3 or whatever, when everyone else was carting everybody everywhere, was excellent. I thought SRH juggled the pack okay. They did some silly things, but we thought they were going to. They bowled a couple of overs of Abhishek, and they bowled people out of position and stuff. But that's the right thing to do when you can't possibly lose the game. So no blame being pointed at them there. I thought SRH finished the season really, really well with, 3 out of 4 wins at the end, and looked like the team that we sort of expected them to be this season. They won 4 out of 5 of their last completed games, so that they started the season with 280, then they totally went to crap, and then they finished it like a train. So that bodes well for next season, because that season was in danger of being a real shocker for SRH. So lots of positives for them. KKR fell away and have finished 8th, it looks like. A team with that amount of talent in shouldn't be finishing 8th in the IPL. Rajasthan we knew were going to be bad this season because they just didn't have the personnel at all. They auctioned appallingly badly, as we said at the time. They found a 14-year-old who is, God knows what he is. He's unbelievably good. And they didn't finish bottom. Chennai had a season off and building for next season. To finish 8th is a bad effort from KKR for me. So more questions than answers for them this season, because their good overseas are all a year older now. And some of them are quite old to start with. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Sunrise, that meant they get all the way up to 6th in the table. Not quite in the top half. Rescued their net run rate. Yeah, I mean, I think you do have to say sort of fair play to them. They won 3 of the last 4, and the other one was a rain off. So, they could have done 4 for 4, finished with an even record, and finished 5th. And in fact, Rob, the game that was rained off, that was the game. Do you remember against Delhi? Delhi bowled 133 off 20 overs, and then it rained at the break. So they're really, really close to. It's a massive booby prize for a team that we all thought would cruise to the playoffs, but actually really close to being the best of the rest. So Fair play to Sunrisers. The guy who took my eye in this match, he'd played a couple of matches already, but I don't think he'd bowled his full set. Harsh Dubé, they sort of let him run in this one. 3 for 34. Canny left arm spinner. What do you make of him? We were quite impressed with his stats in other formats during the live stream.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be positive about. I don't think he's a guy that you can bank on for necessarily 4 overs every time or runs every time. Interesting that he's impact sub and doesn't get a chance to bat in this team, because his batting numbers, maybe not in terms of strike rate, but in terms of the actual numbers he's put together in his career so far, look bloody good. When I first looked at his numbers a couple of weeks ago, I didn't know whether he was a batsman or a bowler. They were that good, his recent batting numbers. He's now clearly a bowler. His T20 economy rate is only about 7, and he hasn't got the wickets in the T20 format, but he's chopping it up in the Ranji, getting 5s and 50s all the time. And he's only a kid, he's still young. When you see 14-year-old and 17-year-olds and 19-year-olds, as we've seen in the last couple of days, bashing it everywhere, you think somebody like Harsh isn't perhaps all that young. But the fact is, he's got a great body of work behind him recently, and he's still only 22.
Yeah,
I think he's a good find for SRH this season. I don't think he's going to be a stalwart and someone that's going to be the next Narayan and be in there for 10 years chopping up the IPL. I don't think he's that quality yet, but he's shown a fair bit about him today. Like, he got 3 for 30 something, but it was in an innings that they were never chasing those runs, right? So let's not get carried away about today's performance. He did his job. He did absolutely fine. But, if ever you're going to want to bowl in an innings in the IPL to have flattering numbers, it's when they're chasing 280, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Rob, we've got a couple of minutes left. There's 2 matches left in the IPL. Punjab v Mumbai tomorrow and Lucknow v RCB. I'm going to ask you to put your head on the line here. Who head on the line? Neck on the line? Same sort of thing. Who's finishing in the top 2? What does your gut say?
We're at Jaipur for tomorrow's game. If we were at Mumbers, I would just say, yeah, Mumbers will do it. I have a feeling Punjab upset things here. I think Punjab might win tomorrow. That's not what the betting markets say, but I think Punjab might do Mumbers tomorrow. That makes things interesting. It's very hard to see how RCB don't beat Lucknow, but they have had they've got Mitchell Marsh in a completely stunning form, and if you get on the wrong end of a Mitchell Marsh, like, is Hazelwood back? Is he back now? I know he's coming back.
I don't think so. Not yet. That's what I heard, but that could have changed. I mean, that changes quite quickly.
Yeah, I think without Hazelwood, they're not a certainty to beat Lucknow, and yeah, it's all up for grabs. Your question is, put my neck on the line, and I haven't really. I think Punjab top the group, and RCB sneak through in second place, and I think for that reason I should probably be laying the 2.6 on Mumbai outright, which I think I'm going to do when we get off this podcast.
Fair enough, Rob. Look, I think that's it for us. Thanks for listening to Cricket A, or thanks for watching Cricket A. This has been the post-match chat. I'm Jack Hope. That's Rob Barron. Cheers, Rob. Join us for more action. Cricket8.com.
Peace.
Think fast. It's cricket, but it's all in your head. Quickfire is Cricket 8's brand new trivia game. Coins power every game on Cricket 8, and Quickfire is the easiest way to get them. Play for free every day and build your balance. Can you keep up when the pressure's on? Every second counts. Every answer matters. Don't just watch the game, play the game.